Hello, class of ED UU 526. My name is Giselle Garcia, and today I will be presenting a PowerPoint about culture, context, and teaching. Let's go ahead and get started. Um, let's get started with what is culture responsiveness. As the definition in child welfare, culture responsiveness enables individuals and organizations to respond respectfully and effectively to people of all cultures, languages, classes, races, ethnicity, backgrounds, disabilities, religion, genders, sexual orientations, and other diversity factors in a manner that recognizes, affirms, and values their worth. Um, in the definition, in my own words, is that cultural responsiveness means that you're able to understand differences without any judgment. You're able to recognize diversity and accept individuals as a whole, and providing a respectful and equal environment where individuals feel that they are included. Implementing effective instruction, how can we do that? Having the belief and understanding of what cultural responsiveness means is key to know how to properly plan and implement an effective instruction in a cultural responsiveness classroom setting. But in order for me to provide an effective instruction, first I have to make sure that I plan effectively. And how can I plan effectively? Some ways that I can make sure that I plan effectively is by creating a report with my students. This is a critical part because having that relationship with the individual and understanding the whole cultural differences, their strengths and needs, will allow me as a teacher to implement an effective instruction. What are some ways that I can implement that instruction? I can do that by greeting students at the door, having morning meetings where the students can share and they can learn about one another. I can build prior knowledge. I can engage students in meaningful learning. I can do that also by providing choices for my students, providing the necessary resources, and making sure that the family is involved in the learning as well. UNCSCAS defines passive learning as a method of learning or instruction where students receive information from the instructor and internalize it. In other words, it means that the students are not being hands-on or fully participant in their learning process. I don't know, I like to compare this as like the owner of the restaurant, versus if you are the cook, you will get those ingredients, you will prepare the meal, and then you will serve it. So you will be like all hands on. So passive learning means that individuals are just taking information by the instructor or asking questions if necessary. This method of teaching is kind of like the old school of teaching. It does not work for ELL students primarily because it is another language that they are acquiring, and it does take the brain a lot more when they're trying to learn another language. Research has shown that ELL students that have received passive learning are more likely to not make academic progress and be underprepared when they are mainstreaming. In order for ELL students to acquire the language, they require practice and active engagement to help the brain process the information and absorb valuable and meaningful information. Instead, there are some effective approaches or strategies that can help ELLs have a better learning outcome for second language acquisition. One effective strategy is to provide an explicit program where individuals can receive a rich full English language development, which will help them in their academic vocabulary and English language proficiency. This program usually requires a trained teacher that will help to adapt and provide the instruction and support for all individuals. This strategy is effective because it allows ELL students to be exposed with other English proficient individuals, and teacher can also monitor progress or group students by the master level. Another effective strategy is collaborative learning. Diaz-Rico mentioned that this strategy can help ELL students gain psychological support from one another while they are in the process of acquiring a second language. And how will this look in the classroom? So I have what you'll hear. So what will you hear? You will hear less teacher talk and more students' conversation, students' groups working together in collaboration, the teacher using repetition and clarification to support the students to make sure that they are comprehending, students using sentence stems to speak and writing complete sentences. And what will you see? The desk will be arranged in groups, students will be working together. There are anchor charts that are clear and concise and use friendly words with graphic support. You will see word walls that are categorized and supported with a lot of visuals, and you will have content and language and objectives clearly posted. Some of the considerations that are key to effectively better serve ELL students include social cultural support, cultural background, prior knowledge, instruction equity, and emphasize productive language vocabulary. It is important that teachers are highly qualified and trained and know how to properly deliver meaningful and equitable education for students in linguistically and culturally diverse backgrounds. And some of the responsibilities that these teachers have is to assess and monitor students' progress, to know the student's strengths and weaknesses, to be able to adapt the instruction and provide SAI instruction, to provide various methods and strategies of learning, to encourage and motivate students to be engaged, and to use plenty of examples and to model for those students. After this week's reading, one new insight that really stand out for me was how they talked about teachers embracing and looking for far beyond labels. That's a more powerful and emotional and cognitive connection that was mentioned in the chapter. Another insight from this week was the fact that research has shown the adults learn language more skillfully than children. Although the children might acquire language at a faster rate and with no accent, adults have more memory strategies. Lastly, the chapter talked about how prior success can be a predictor of academic success. These are my references that I use for the PowerPoint, and thank you for watching.